Yes, this is the news that you've been waiting for. You've been on the edge of your seat about for the last, well, forever, if I'm being honest. Attorney General Pam Bondi says that the FBI is reviewing the Epstein files. Now, of course, we know we've had our differences with Pam Bondi, but this right here comes as great news. Let me go ahead and let her take this away real quick and get y'all updated. You got to speak up. You know, they try and hear you now. Come on.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm the status of them? They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Martin seems to be facing a very tough.
So James Comer, says that evidence has been destroyed. We're going to dive more into that from Benny Johnson as well. He interviewed someone the other day that may give us some more insight to that. However, the Epstein files, this is something that we've all been waiting to see come to the light because, I mean, so many victims, so many children were affected by the situation, and we don't know how Hollywood is connected. We're still waiting to see how this whole Diddy situation plays a role into Epstein. We got politicians and everything in between wrapped up into this. So the update up until now, February of this year, the U.S. Department of Justice under AG Pam Bondi released the first phase of the Epstein files, including an evidence list, pilot logs from Maxwell's trial, and Epstein's redacted contact book. In March of this year as well, Bondi announced that a truckload of evidence had been received, with Patel setting a deadline for review. And of course, we know Kash Patel said that he was going to attempt to release the files on day one. But of course, it's so many things in between. But let me read that over. Bondi announced that a truckload of evidence had been received, with Patel setting a deadline for review. She promised to release as much as possible quickly, though no specific timeline or new documents were detailed. Now, last month, Virginia, I don't know how you say it, Jiffy, Key Epstein accuser, I'm sorry, she died by suicide, is what they're claiming, as reported by her family. Now, Maxwell requested the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her sex trafficking conviction, and Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit against the DOJ alleging stonewalling on further Epstein files releases. President Trump stated he would discuss the files with Bondi, assuring the public that all information would be released without withholding. So this is everything we have up until now. I want y'all to go ahead and see what Fox News
Breaking news here. A third batch
reported.
of documents pertaining to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has just been released. We've been combing through this. Nate Boy has been helping us do so. He's live from our New York City newsroom. What are we learning here, Nate?
Hey, Sandra. So 29 documents were just released in the past hour, over 400 pages. We're going through it as quickly as we can. And once again, names in the Clinton family have come up. So, of course, these names coming out as part of a 2015 defamation lawsuit between Virginia Giuffre, one of the accusers who claims that she was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's confidant. Names that were searched, or at least discussed to be searched, through Maxwell's phone as part of that defamation case include Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Prince Andrew, law.harvard.edu was one of the phrases to be searched through her phone, as well as Alan Dershowitz, the attorney. But the difference today, Hillary Clinton's name coming through, as we have seen former President Bill Clinton's name pop up each of the past 2 days. Another thing to note, Sandra, in one of the documents that was just released, there is essentially a message book that came out. It's handwritten notes for Jeffrey Epstein about who had called him. One of those notes reads, quote, "She had on the phone Mr. Harvey Weinstein." So we'll keep looking into that, as well as the rest, or as for the rest of the documents that we've had the chance to go through to this point. They explain through depositions a lot of the recruiting process for a lot of these young girls, some of them recruited by Virginia Giuffre's ex-boyfriend. Many of the girls described at Epstein's home under the age of 18, some of them from different countries. So right now, with these 29 documents being released, that makes 88 documents that have come out to this point. Giuffre's lawyers tell us that we can expect 240, and that process for those documents to be unsealed could stretch into Monday. But we'll keep going through this newest batch of documents, and we'll let you know what we find.
All right.
We're not too surprised we're hearing the Clintons' name being popped up in there. Harvey Weinstein. See, these are names that we're familiar with. This right here is just going to be catastrophic for a lot of people, and I'm happy. I want to expose each and every last one of these pedos and anybody out here harming and trafficking children to any degree. Somebody said Harvey Weinstein. That is shocking. He's good friends with Howard Stern, Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Fallon. I'm sure it's all good. Remember, how you said that? Dershowitz? I don't know how you say his name. Y'all said he got a message, excuse me, but kept his towel around his wrist. All those names you mentioned, I bet have been to Epstein Island in or the Lolita Express. Lolita, I'm sorry. Wow, another batch of Epstein docs and still the same names, Clinton, Weinstein, Prince Andrew. It's sickening how deep this goes. Over 400 pages of proof, yet I bet the elites will keep just dodging justice. When will we see real action? These victims deserve better. Now, Jeffrey Epstein, victim, Virginia, Godfrey, I think, that just committed suicide, who said I was trafficked to Prince Andrew, had her case dismissed by the same judge who ruled Donald Trump was guilty of the whole E. Jean Carroll situation.
Oh my God! Check this out. Watch this here, Tom. Watch this here, Tom. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Okay, go to other cases he's worked on. Go lower. Go up a little bit. Right there. Hang on. Right there. You will not even believe what I just found. Look at the case you worked on. Look for all the way in the bottom of miscellaneous, second line, 2021, 2022. Kaplan was presiding judge on mattering relating towards Virginia Giuffre and Prince Andrew. Click on that on section. Watch what happens here. What happens to the case? Click on that's the one. Click right there. Zoom in and just go to the top. Yeah, Jennifer Andrew reached. And the case was dismissed by the party stipulation in March 2022 without going to trial.
Prince Andrew.
So let me get this straight. This case, read the top. Federal Court, Virginia. You know who Virginia Giuffre? I mean, we just talked about her, right?
Trafficked girl from Epstein Island.
From Epstein Island. Second son of for sexual assault under court. Several sexual encounters with Andrew in the early 2000s at the age of 17 after being sex trafficked by American financier and convicted by sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Dismissed without going to trial. Yet Trump's $83.3 million.
Wow. What a freaking find.
Great find.
That is insane. All you gotta do is dig a little.
The corruption runs deep. Here he is, Judge Lewis Kaplan. I said Kaplan. Yeah, somebody should make a compilation of all the names I've butchered, just so I can, we can have some fun and frustrate. Because I get some people in the comments, and within reason, some of them, and they, oh my God, watching you butcher names, I have to cut off the video. I'm like, oh, okay, man, stop acting like a Democrat, bro. Relax, it's okay. I don't know everybody's name. Yeah, I went to school. But sometimes, these words don't be word to me. But, back to the serious matter and wheeling it back in real quick. Epstein Accuser Virginia father does not believe that she did that to herself.
Well, tell me about your reaction when you heard that she'd taken her life.
Well, first of all, I couldn't even believe it. I started crying right away. I'm still crying. I can't believe that this is happening. It's impossible. And then for them to say that she committed suicide, there's no way that she did. Somebody got to her.
Well, tell me.
Man, you know, first of all, my heart goes out to this father. This is some real deep crap right here, man. Keep God first, keep God first, keep God first. Every time I feel like we just getting too close to the fire, I just gotta acknowledge God and bring him back to the center for me, just so I can be reminded that, man, this list right here apparently is a list that dropped with a, I'll just read the caption from Ryan Matter. The Diddy list just dropped, and Cash Patel was photographed with one of Diddy's guests, who, by coincidence, turned out to be one of the royals who constantly attacked Epstein's victims. She was publicly attacking Victoria after she was hit by a bus several weeks ago. Telling y'all, it's too many layers to this, man. Whoa, why is this doing that? This is a video that released, or I seen this morning, come across my timeline, where I don't even know if I can just introduce it. You're just gonna have to just listen.
My name is Anya, or Anna Wick, formerly Anna Petrova, formerly Owen Theodore Epstein, born Anya Beth Epstein on June 4th, 1988 in Boulder, Colorado, with my twin brother, Shia LaBeouf, to our father, Stephen Bruce Epstein, and our mother, Shayna Sadie LaBeouf, who separated us, forging our birth certificates as part of a ritualized, highly organized, generationally planned child trafficking cult that initiates 3-year-olds and deifies incest and inbreeding. I have not been in danger, just been incredibly anxious. However, the world deserves for the truth to belong to the public. This is for accountability. If for any reason I fail to appear on my interviews this weekend, you are more than welcome and encouraged to upload everything from your accounts. Thank you.
You're just getting super deep right now. The world deserves to know the truth, for sure. Somebody asked Groke to confirm who she is, and it says her name is Anna Wick Epstein, claims to be Shia LaBeouf's twin sister, born in 1988 and part of a child trafficking cult. However, credible sources like Wikipedia and People Like Magazine confirm Shia LaBeouf, born in 1986, is an only child, contradicting her claim. Her allegations of a cult lack evidence, with no official reports supporting them. Social media, including Reddit, shows skepticism, noting inconsistencies while she seeks help via GoFundMe for a legal dispute. Her claims appear unfounded, though she seems sincere. All of this is alleged right now. This is as much information as I have right now. Well, it's Epstein files not released there again. Wait, hold on. Somebody under this hour ago says she has recanted. Do they have a video of that? Should be reprogrammed. And then that's going to raise that concern right there. Did she, if she did, or is she being coerced? Call me crazy, but if I had a message for the world and I thought I was in danger, I'd record the whole thing at once and release it before I ever went public. So what now she does before anyone... Wait. So what now? She dies before anyone hears her story, or she will never even tell her story? I don't know. Anyhow, let's get to something a little more credible. Now, James Comer, of course, you had Pam Bondi address this earlier today. However, Benny Johnson and James Comer sat down yesterday, and he said that the files have been destroyed and then doesn't think Pam Bondi and Cash Patel have them. And, quote, I warned them. Let's hear his side of the story after we've already heard Pam Bondi response.
What's next? I mean, we did a little bit of a preview on the Epstein files. Obviously, that's like finding a unicorn in Washington, D.C. You have come on and talked about that on this program, just for the sake of transparency, which is very big for you. And so, in closing, any motion on that, any movement on that? We hear that there's a timeline now.
I hope James has the Epstein files, because I don't think the Department of Justice has them, or at least the Attorney General does not have them, or she would have turned them over. The President ordered them released. The Attorney General ordered them released. We all know they have not been released. And one of my biggest fears that I had, and I expressed this with Cash Patel and a lot of people, Stephen Miller, and a lot of people going into the new administration, I'm like, I hope they're not shredding documents right now. This was a few weeks before the transition. I said, I hope they're not shredding documents, but you all need to go on that first day and try to get all this stuff released, because, my fear is from what I've dealt with in investigations and in communication with this deep state apparatus, is they're probably in there shredding documents as we speak. So hopefully someone has a copy of that. And I hope we find out, because our task force has done everything, led by Anna Paulina Luna. You had her on your show many times.
Now I'm wondering if he actually made these statements. Well, I feel like he's been sincere, but I don't know if this was also somehow some reverse psychology way to push Pam Bondi to release some more of the files. The public, America is very concerned about these Epstein files. I mean, rightfully so. We have a right to know who's back here doing some dirty work and harming our children.
I mean, she's relentless. She's persistent. She's pretty frustrated right now that these files haven't been released, even though the president and the attorney general have ordered them released. But, it's like I told Anna the same thing I told Patel and everybody else. I'm like, you assume that somebody in the deep state said, okay, we'll just put these in a file back here, this incriminating evidence on everybody, and maybe the next administration can do whatever they want to do with it. That's unfortunately the way it's supposed to work, but it hasn't worked with this deep state.
So they're just going to let the incriminating evidence sit there smoldering that could put them all in prison.
I wish they should. That's what they're supposed to do. But you and I have dealt with them, Vinny. You've covered the deep state as well as anyone. I mean, they cover their tracks, and it's just hard for me to believe they're going to leave incriminating evidence. If the government was involved, if the government wasn't involved, I don't think they would have any reason to protect Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. They're never going to be elected anything again. I don't think they would have any reason to protect Bill Gates or anybody else. The concern I've always had about the Epstein file was the government involved. Did the government know? Was the government using Epstein and the videos to blackmail the most influential people around the world? If that's the case, then they knew there were victims of sex crimes there, and they did nothing. So
which is just as disgusting as being a part of it, in my opinion. This is not okay. You drug people, you get them on camera doing some, despicable stuff. What teach his own, rather. You get them, doing some promiscuous stuff, and you basically hold their career for ransom. That's crazy.
That's the concern I have. If the government covers this up, I don't believe it's because of any love affair or affection for the Clinton family, just like I never believed they were hiding and covering for the Bidens because they loved Joe Biden. It was because they hated Donald Trump, and they didn't want their agencies to be disrupted. The same thing with the Epstein files. I don't know this, but my concern is that the government may have known a lot more and may have been an active participant, maybe with the intentions of intelligence gathering. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I don't think the American people would be okay if the government knew that crimes against young women were occurring, and yet they did nothing to intervene.
Yeah, if the government's involved in this, which, I mean, I ain't putting nothing past nobody. It would definitely make everything extremely hard, and also will center the fact that we will never actually get the full truth of everything, because as Juanita La Patriot posted, why would they not destroy them? Really good point. Really good point. Let's listen to Jesse Waters speak to this.
So who's in charge at the New York FBI field office? Who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General? James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee-deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork? The FBI seized computers, surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those files? You remember where Epstein killed himself? I asked Bill Barr about that, why everything seemed to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around.
I tell you one thing, though. It's starting to make me question this Diddy situation even more. Because like Comer said, at least they're going to cover their tracks. They're definitely going to do that. But in Diddy's sex trafficking trial, you know, it's getting ready to begin, and it could expose deep ties to the Epstein network. I want y'all to check this clip out real quick. So we just trying to connect the dots.
That was the headline the New York Post bleated out earlier today as the infamous rapper and notorious sexual abuser heads to court. Just last Thursday, Diddy rejected a plea deal for his sex crimes, ensuring that he will have his day in court. And I am sure that many of his fellow elites are running a little scared today. One famous rapper who's not running for the hills as Diddy goes to trial is his old friend Kanye West. The controversial rapper West is publicly standing by Diddy and encouraging others to do the same. So one does have to wonder why. Nothing is as it seems in this trial, of course. And it all points to Diddy being yet possibly another Jeffrey Epstein, like honeypot operation run amok. One has to wonder if soon we'll be seeing Diddy say, Diddy didn't kill himself. We're now joined by the independent investigative reporter Liz Crokin to discuss the beginning of Diddy's trial. Did you ever think it would really come to trial, or did you expect something to happen to him before we got to trial, or either him to take a plea deal? I'm a little surprised it's actually going to trial myself.
Yeah, I did expect it to go to trial. I didn't think that he was going to end up suicided like Jeffrey Epstein. And I did not expect him to take a plea deal because I've been saying this repeatedly. I believe that Diddy is kind of a Joker character. I believe that he's the type of personality that if he's going to go down, he's going to bring the whole house down with him. And I'm actually completely just ecstatic that he didn't take a plea deal, because if he took a plea deal, then we wouldn't hear more about potential co-conspirators of his ring and clients. And so since we're going to have a trial, which by the way is going to last 8 to 10 weeks, today was the first day of jury selection, we're going to be getting just a wealth of information over the next few weeks. And hopefully we'll learn a lot about the criminal enterprise that Diddy was accused of running that involves sex trafficking, and hopefully it'll expose more co-conspirators. And one more thing I will add is that I also believe that there's a potential that we will learn more about Jeffrey Epstein and his ring through this trial, because Diddy's ring connects to Jeffrey Epstein's ring, and allegedly one of the alleged sex traffickers that was working for Jeffrey Epstein also had close ties to Diddy. Her name's Rachel Chandler. So potentially her name could get brought up as well, which means we will learn more about Jeffrey Epstein.
That's very interesting.
The plot continues to thicken. I don't know if this trial is going to be streamed at all. But somebody put under the comment section, Diddy needs to be protected so he doesn't get Epstein, at least long enough for every evil person who attended his free call. So I had anything to do with these disgusting acts to be made public. I don't know. I feel like he turned down a plea deal because he knows that famous people can get away with a lot of stuff. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Please stay prayed up out here, y'all.